Hi, welcome to Salt and Burn This. I'm Sami.
And I'm Valerie.
And this is our Supernatural Rewatch podcast.
Each week, we're going to break down an episode in order with lots of details, so nothing's left out.
And we throw in some personal nuggets and stories and research to mix it up just a little bit.
Because not only are we fans of the show, but like Sam and Dean, we've also had our fill of road trips.
Yeah, but for theater, not for hunting ghosts and demons.
And not in a super sexy muscle car.
Anyway, shall we?
We shall. I almost just clicked leave. Before you hit,
I am done.
Recording. Bye. I don't know why. Oh, it's because I just automatically went down. Muscle memory went down to click.
Yeah. Very funny.
Screw you, Sami. I'm not doing this.
All right. Season 4 wrap up. We're doing it. This is happening.
Yes. Here we go.
We're going to close the fucking book on
We
this fucking season.
We have to close the season.
No offense to this season, because you were wonderful. You were funny.
Yes.
But
yes, it was. But you and I were not.
No.
I kind of feel like we were real downers this season. Not on every episode, but not only did it take us a long time to get through it, just every time we got to it, we're like, okay, it's another episode.
Yeah.
So it's like,
this is season 4. There were a total of 22 episodes in this season, which let me actually just look up real quick. Season 3 only had 16. That was because of the writer's strike.
Writer's strike.
I think maybe that's also why this felt like long.
To go from 16 all the way up to 22.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah.
Season 2 had also 22. Season 1 also 22. So interesting. Usually the first season has the
fewest.
Yeah, the fewest.
Because they're like, this will never last. We're only gonna commit to 7 episodes.
Yes.
Kripke worked his magic, I guess.
Yes, he did.
He fooled them all. And this was his last season, or his next season?
Next season is his last.
However, this was Kim Manners' last season.
Correct.
So that kind of put the brakes on things emotionally, I think, for them.
Yeah. Do you want to lead us with our map questing?
Yeah, that's kind of is my thing. Map quest. They did not go far in this season, and in fact, I think I put more miles on my car this year than they did. I'm gonna go in order. I'm just gonna zip on through this. All right. So Lazarus Rising finds us in Pontiac, Illinois, and Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
Are you there, God? It's me, Dean Winchester. Again, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. In the beginning is Lawrence, Kansas, but Lawrence, Kansas back in time. So I don't know if that really counts as a map quest. Metamorphosis was Carthage, Missouri. Monster Movie was Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania. I love that episode. Yellow Fever, Rock Ridge, Colorado. Rock Ridge. I always think of Mel Brooks. It's the Great Pumpkin, Sam Winchester. Unknown. Unknown. No chirons.
Interesting.
Wishful Thinking, Concrete, Washington. I know what you did last summer back in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, but yet also Kentucky. But where in Kentucky, we don't know. Heaven and Hell, same location. They didn't go very far. Family Remains, somewhere in Nebraska. That weird, creepy house.
Yes.
Chris Angel's a douchebag back in Sioux City, Iowa. Oh, I say back in. They didn't go to Sioux City, Iowa. This is their first time in Sioux City, Iowa.
Yeah, they were in Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls, yes. Sorry about that. After School Special. Thank you for Jensen in knee socks. I was in Fairfax, Indiana, not Fairfax, Virginia, which would have been like, oh my God, Fairfax,
Yeah.
the things I have to say. Sex and Violence takes us to Bedford, Iowa. Death Takes a Holiday was in Green Bowl, Wyoming. On the Head of a Pin, Cheyenne, Wyoming. It's a Terrible Life. I don't think that was anywhere. The monster at the end of this book is also unknown. Jump the Shark in Windham, Minnesota. The Rapture was in Pontiac, Illinois, and Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I think they visited Bobby a few times this season. Let's see. When the Levee Breaks, Sioux Falls, and also Jamestown, North Dakota. Lazarus Rising, Greensboro, Elk River, Cold Springs, and Ilchester, Maryland, which I thought was fake, but is not.
And you meant Lucifer Rising, right?
What did I say?
Lazarus Rising.
Wow. It even says Lucifer Rising, and I just said it. Yes, I meant Lucifer Rising. Final episode, Lucifer Rising. Go, the Green Room. Green Room, sorry.
Green Room.
Green Room. Woo! Elk River, Cold Springs, and Ilchester, Maryland. Okay. See, my handwriting has not improved through our season. So that's our map quest. They did not hit the East Coast once.
No. Well, Maryland is the closest to the East Coast, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yes, but
like Maryland and Pennsylvania, and then the Midwest.
Yeah. So that's what I have for MapQuest. I did not total the miles. Somebody else out there did. And I'm going to leave that. I'm just going to say bravo.
Yep. Good for you.
Good for you.
You did it.
I am not, and nor will I copy it because you did all the work. So there you go.
Okay. I just want to go over. See, I thought it was interesting when I did this count because I was going to do like monsters of the week, quote unquote.
Right.
Because I kept thinking, oh, the only monster pretty much is either angels or demons, something else thrown in.
Right. There's no Wendigo in this one.
No. But when I was counting it, there were so many unique, interesting things that happened each week that it's still kind of evened out.
Of the week. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So season 1, I counted, and I was loose with this because there were a lot of episodes that had ghosts, but they just had different tricks up their sleeve.
Right.
For instance, Bloody Mary was technically a ghost, but she was treated as Bloody Mary. So I didn't count her as a unique.
Okay.
So this is, debatable, all of these numbers, but season 1, I had 16 unique monsters. Season 2, I had 14-ish. Season 3, I had 13-ish, which includes like a special case. And then in season 4, there were about 14
what
new things, and maybe I'll go through them. So
okay,
Lazarus Rising, we have an angel, the first angel that we meet. Season 2, it's angry spirits, so that's one thing. In the beginning, there isn't back in like time travel, maybe. I can't remember if I counted that, honestly. Metamorphosis, that was a Rougarou, so that's our first real, like, this is actually a new monster from any others.
Right.
Monster Movie is a shapeshifter, which we've met before, but it's the first one of this season. Yellow Fever, while it was a ghost, this was a new kind of thing, right?
It's manifestation.
It's ghost sickness, which we have not seen before.
Right.
Great Pumpkin, that is witches, which we've met before, but first of this season. Wishful Thinking, that was a cursed coin.
Yeah.
I know what you did last summer. There was more angels, heaven and hell, more angels.
Same thing. Yep.
Yeah. Family Remains, a human.
People.
Chris Angel is a douchebag. I guess I could have counted that as a witch.
Yeah, it was like witch warlock.
Yeah, who just used the field of
Black
magician magic.
Yeah.
So okay, we'll take that one down. After School Special, that was a ghost. Sex and Violence, a siren. The first time we've encountered a siren. Death Takes a Holiday.
We've seen Reapers. So.
We've seen Reapers, and they weren't really like the monster of the week. That was more Alistair.
Right. Yeah.
On the Head of the Pin, that's Angels and Demons. It's a Terrible Life. Was a ghost, but it was set up in like a fake reality.
Right.
So I counted that as kind of a new special case situation. Their minds were wiped. Monster at the End of this book, that is our first prophet. Not the enemy, but a new thing.
Right, new character, yeah.
Jump the Shark, those are ghouls. We have not met ghouls before. Yep,
that was cool.
The Rapture, the rest of it is Angels and Demons. So I guess we could say 5 new, completely new monsters things.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Angel, Siren, Rougarou, Ghoul, Prophet, I guess.
All right.
Because he does show up twice. He does show up twice. The Prophet shows up twice.
He's just kind of in their path. He's not.
No, he's not
actively,
an enemy. No.
And yeah, he's not actively something that is.
No, 4.5.
Okay.
4.5 new things.
I'll take it. So I wrote down a couple of like new large characters. So by name, Anna, Angel. By name, Castiel, Angel, and Misha Collins, who amazing. Chuck Shirley, the Prophet, as you just said, by Rob Benedict, and Zachariah, also an angel, Kurt Fuller. What's funny about those people, as I wrote them down, I didn't have to look up who the performers were, who the actors were. I was like, that just made me kind of giggle. I was like, if you don't know their names now, after 15 seasons, you know.
Did I tell you, I'm sidebarring just a little bit here, but Kurt Fuller, ever since that one last episode he was in, I guess it was the final episode.
With the green room. Yeah.
There were like 4 things that I had seen him in recently. Like all of a sudden it was Kurt Fuller was everywhere. Because I'm rewatching.
Love him.
Yeah, because I'm rewatching Psych, so I've gotten to the point where he's entered into the cast
as the coroner. Yes.
Wayne's World was on a channel, and I was watching it, and he's in Wayne's World.
Oh my god, I don't remember that.
He's like a driver. I remember him driving a van or the truck or something. And then somebody was confessing their love to him, or maybe he was confessing his love to another guy. You know, it was a very like gay thing. It was like, oh yeah, I know, I love you too, buddy. He was not getting it. And then it was, I don't know, some other kind of procedural show, like maybe it was Law and Order or something. But it was like, oh my god, I just cannot get rid of this guy.
he can flip from like purely comedic to like dick, you know, prosecutor or something.
Yes.
Yeah. But of course, everyone who's worked with him says he's like the best to work with. So
you
good for you, Kurt.
Yay, Kurt. So you named a bunch of angels, but there were also a couple recurring demons whom we've known before, but
right. Well, that's why I said new.
Yeah. Okay.
In introduced to this season.
Got it.
Because that's all. That's my only separation from the other big characters that were in this episode, in the season.
Was Alistair introduced this season? This was the season that Dean was pulled from hell, and he had met Alistair in hell.
Yes. I would say Alistair, yes, you are correct. Alistair was introduced.
And killed.
Yeah.
Yes. Introduce.
Yes. I also did who died monumentally, large characters who died. I would say Ruby, Genevieve. Wait, what was her pre-married name?
Cortese or something like that.
Cortez. Yes. Okay. So Padalecki. Uriel killed by Anna finally. Lilith killed by Lilith by Sam, Alistair by Sam, Adam Mulligan. I mean, not a huge character, but like big to the brothers, I would say. The half brother of Sam and Dean, who was killed by a ghoul. Let's see. I wrote down Samuel Campbell, so Grandpa.
Oh, Grandpa.
Grandpa Mitch Pileggi was killed by Alistair. I may have missed a couple, but those were like big characters who died in this season. I also had some other notables, not people, but notable events. Is this going to be weird to segue into this?
No.
So not to be morbid, but there were some really good deaths, some really notable deaths, and not just people, but the way that they died. Yeah. And I would say top of the list for me was in Wishful Thinking, the teddy bear. Brilliant when the teddy bear tries to do death by suicide and blows his little fluffy brains out, but and because he's just a fluffy teddy bear, he's still alive. And just I mean, brilliant. All of that was so sick, but so brilliant. That was one of my favorites. Cool, like on the cool side was like Lilith and the like glowing from the inside, skeleton. Alistair kind of had the same thing when Sam killed him. I would say one of the most disturbing deaths was the ghost and the human character in Yellow Fever of Luther Garland. Yeah. So the fact that this man, while he was alive, was dragged to death behind a car, and then his ghost was also killed by being dragged to death behind the Impala. Yeah. That to me was one of the most disturbing deaths that Supernatural ever penned.
I agree.
And twice. Pretty gruesome, but awesome would be the elevator guy who got cut in half. That's always a good. That's always a good one, because that was like the first time Sam got full splattered. Yeah. And you always know when an elevator is in a horror movie or show that someone's going to get cut in half. Yeah. And they done did it. It was well done. And then another really gruesome one, which actually kind of shocked me a little bit, was when Dean beat the ghoul to death. Adam, the ghoul who killed his brother. Dean beats this thing to death with a crowbar. He doesn't shoot it. He doesn't stab it. Beats it to death over and over and over again until it's dead. And that was, for me, kind of disturbing to see like the hero character unleashed like that, like separated from himself. So those were significant standout deaths in this season. One of the most stupid deaths, I will say, and I come to this a little bit later, I'll say it. Ready? Sam gets struck by lightning. At the end of wishful thinking. Yes. I was like, that was one of the dumbest ones they've done. Which brings me to the number of times Sam died this season. Okay. Which is once. When he's struck by lightning. But that does bring him to 2 deaths so far in all seasons. Yeah. So he was killed by
the psychic guy.
The psychic guy. All I can think of is Aldous, because that's the actor's name. Yeah. Aldous Hodge. That's the actor's name. I can't remember the character's name, but yeah, that was the first time Sam died, and then we all cried because Dean is crying. Yeah. And then the number of times Dean died this season. Are you ready for this? 0.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, 0. So he is still ahead though, 12-2. Dean has died 12 times and Sam is up to 2. So Sam's, catching up, but he's got a ways to go.
I felt like in that one where he just dies over and over and over again, isn't it like 80 or 90 or 100 that Sam mentions? Like, I've watched you die an exorbitant number of times.
Yeah. The times we see it is like 11.
I see.
Yeah. So if we count the my eyes have seen, he's up to 12, including being dragged to hell.
Right. So 12, but up 12, to 100.
8. Yes. Okay. That we know of, that they put on film.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk firsts in this season.
Okay.
Like firsts that I guess live on in supernatural history. We have the first angel appearance of a real angel, not a fake angel, not a preacher who thinks he's an angel ghost thing.
Right.
But the first angel appearance, and wow.
Best entrance of a character. Hands down, best entrance of Castiel.
Yeah.
I mean,
he wins.
He went absolutely. And I want to say, like, I don't want to say always kudos to Misha, but I also want to say, you know, bravo for being given this entrance. You know, how cool must it have been to like read the script and be like, this is how I enter.
Yes.
I mean, how cool that must have been. And then to see what they actually created,
what they
for
add
him
in as for the wings and stuff.
He must have just been knocked out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's got to be like for you as a performer when you finally get into a costume.
Yes.
And it's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is now my character. This is, you know, and just I just love that. I love that for Misha. So especially given the rasher of shit he takes for the entire rest of his time working on the career.
Show. First instance of legit time travel, and that is when Dean goes to visit his parents back in time.
Right.
So I'm not counting the episode we keep mentioning where Sam relives, like he has this Groundhog Day. I don't feel like that's the same.
No, I think you're right. It's not time travel.
Neither is the episode where Dean gets infected by the djinn.
Right, because that was just like an alternate reality.
Yeah.
Like,
so the first time travel, not the last, we will see in Supernatural. And then we have the first third brother.
The first third brother. Yeah.
Not that we're going to see more brothers, but to me, this sentence was funny in my head. It was the first third brother.
I forgot to mention what's her butt who died? Pamela, the psychic, the hot chick.
Yes.
Who always got to say sexy things to with Sam.
Lucky lady.
Yes.
And we could also say that with the first angel appearances and them just living throughout the season, this is kind of the first use of angel sigils. So we had the Devil's Trap, which is now part of the arsenal, but now we have an angel
the whatever the blood sigil is, and they smack it and the angels disappear.
Yes.
It's like an unsummoning cell.
Yeah.
I know there's a name for it, but we've both completely forgotten what it is. Yeah. So going back to or pairing with the best entrance of a character, I want to say the best exit of a character. This is just really silly for me, but it was Dracula on the moped.
Yes.
Just him like beep beep. Yeah.
This giant man on this little moped
with his cape flowing behind him. Yeah, so best exit. That was, for me, that was like the best exit. In Operaland, the director I work with the most in California, Ken, he always gives a soprano like best entrance. I mean, there's always like a best entrance and a best exit in a show. And it's so deliberate, and I love it. I love it. For me, one of my favorites was a performer who entered in a bathtub. So she was in a clawfoot white bathtub on a rolling platform. She had fake bubbles, up to her clavicles. She had her hair in like a topsy-turvy, whatever. And we would blow bubbles around her just before she entered, so that as she entered, bubbles would like trail in behind her. And these like hot guys would roll her out on stage, spin her around, and then leave her there. And she would just be, I mean, she literally, you can't see me striking a pose, but she would just strike this pose as she came in. I was like, that is the best entrance, naked in a clawfoot tub with bubbles flowing behind you as you enter. That's one of my favorites ever. Oh, I had another best. I've got 3 bests in a row: entrance, exit, and then I said best graphics. And it was whoever had to do the book covers for the supernatural books, the fact that they drew Sam and Dean as like romance,
Fabio and
Fabio, yes, as models, as bodice ripper model. Oh God, that was
those were amazing.
Those
book
are
covers.
amazing. I just thought they must have had such a good time making those covers.
All right, let's wrap up this wrap-up.
Okay, well,
with just some very supernatural moments.
Okay. This is ridiculous. I mean, normally we would talk about the weapons, you know, and how many times salt and burn this was used and blah, blah, blah. Did we do any salt and burn this season?
Don't know.
We are so bad at this, Sammy.
That's the name of our podcast, so we don't even know. We didn't even look that up.
But you know what I did? You know, all right, while you're looking that up, I will tell them that the number of times the green beer cooler showed up is once this season. Only once in season 4, and it was an after school special. So far, the green beer cooler has made 3 appearances.
3 whole appearances.
3 whole appearances. And the number of times something didn't appear, the Impala baby, was not used 3 times this season. There were 3 episodes where they did not show baby. And I was shocked by that when I went back, because I thought it was like once, maybe. But no, Chris Angel's a douchebag, episode 12, no Impala.
Yeah.
It's a Terrible Life, episode 17. Dean drove what's the Toyota Prius? He drove a Prius. And then Lucifer Rising, this last one, no cars, just Ruby and her muscle car, her badass muscle car, but no baby. Salt and burn this? Did they salt and burn?
After school special, they salt and burned the lock of hair or whatever. It was not a corpse, it was a thing that the ghost attached himself to.
They did try to salt and burn.
Yes.
And that,
I also I don't remember, did they try to salt and burn in Family Remains where it ended up being a human?
There was nothing to burn. They just stood in a salt circle, and it crossed over. The girl crossed into the salt circle.
Right. That's right. And then they were like,
she was. They're like, that's not a ghost. That's a real person.
Yep. It's a Terrible Life. They salted and burned. The picture thing. The thing that was the memento.
Yep. Okay. All right. Yay! Boy, we had to work for that
2 times.
Now, did they salt and burn in After School Special, or did they just burn it?
You know, I did notice after a while that they just kind of stopped salting things. They just started burning things.
Yeah. If there's a corpse, they'll salt and burn the corpse. They'll pour the salt,
yeah, but
the things just kind of get burnt.
Yeah, they just got a little lazy with the
Right. So things. We can't change the name of the podcast to Burn This, because that's the name of yeah, it's the name of a play that, you know, we've already semi copyright infringed on. But
okay, so twice we'll say, oh, they salted it off camera. So twice they salted and burned things.
It makes it sound like, you know, some ingredients.
Ghost spacers, yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, ghost.
Okay, so my little supernaturally moments kind of encompass whole episodes. Just because it started last season when they started doing funny things, meta things, wacky things, which they have the liberty to do in this kind of world where, you know, angels can take them back in time or into an alternate reality.
Right.
And it just turns into a funny supernatural canon. Like, those are the episodes that people remember.
Right.
So in this season, I have, and this is my opinion, a monster movie where it's all black and white, very stylized in that old timey thing. Also in that episode is a good GIF or GIF. It's an outtake where the boys like just turn and look at each other with their mouths as wide open as possible. I see that one all the time. Like, oh my God, I did not believe that. Did you hear what just happened? Like, that's the vibe.
Or I'm so scared. Yes. I love that one.
Wishful Thinking, which is the teddy bear, the porn watching, whiskey drinking teddy bear.
Oh God.
It's a Terrible Life, where they are what were their last names in that?
It was Smith and Wesson.
Smith and Wesson, yes. There's something not natural here.
Right. Well, I remember what that episode was with the last name when Wesson. I always was thinking Wesson oil. Do you remember the like canola oil, Wesson oil? And it was Mrs. Brady who used to do those commercials. The Wesson commercials was Mrs. Brady from the Brady Bunch. And so when I first saw their last name is Wesson, I was like, is Mrs. Brady going to be in this episode? But yes, Smith and Wesson, not Winchester, and not the cooking oil.
Yep.
Hawked by Mrs. Brady.
And lastly, I have the monster at the end of this book, which is about as meta as you can get, until there's one that gets even more so in a couple seasons. But yes, all the books, this is like the start of the supernatural book theme.
Yes, yes,
and
good,
it gets
good
even
point.
more ridiculous.
Yes.
And lastly, just a couple other Giphy moments, which is Dean screaming in Yellow Fever. Possibly my favorite ever.
Isn't that when the director said, just scream? Like,
yes.
just go big, go home?
Yes, and he just went.
Screams like a girl. I
mean, in Yellow Fever, that's where they do the Eye of the Tiger little end bit, right. With Jensen just
lip syncing his way through
to it.
Yes.
And then we already mentioned Dean in gym socks in After School Special.
If you could, dodgeball. I lived through dodgeball, and I lived through being beamed in the face with those stupid rubber balls.
Yeah.
Before they turned it into like foam balls. Oh God, yeah. Yes. Jensen in knee socks with his bow legs.
Yes, he's so bow-legged. When you put him in shorts, you really see how bow-legged he really is. Because he was also in Lederhosen in
yes, that's what I was just gonna say. Oh my gosh, there's
monster movie.
two times that they put Jensen in shorts this season.
Yeah.
For the guy who famously says, "I don't wear shorts." All right. Look at that. We did that without any research.
Yes, we did.
So, all right, that's all I got.
That's all I got.
Do you have a favorite episode or a favorite moment or a favorite scene, a favorite story arc?
I really like Yellow Fever, and I think that's just because it sticks in my head so much. And you really got to see Jensen just cut loose, and just be silly.
Yes.
And I like it when the boys are silly.
Yeah.
Does it add much to the main arc of the story? No. I did like the twist of Ruby at the end.
Yes.
Which was very obvious to me now, but I don't remember it being so obvious to me the first round that I watched it, despite all of her little sneaky side
nuggets.
Glances. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was like, what's going on? Why doesn't Sam see that she's up to something? Now, I knew she was up to something. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. But I remember it really catching me off guard the first time I saw that. I was like, what?
Yeah. For me, there are some arcs that really caught me. Like, as much as we really don't know Castiel, he had huge arcs in this. We met his vessel, and we saw, the frustration of his vessel being abandoned by, the angel. And we all have this perception of angels being, biblical, all loving, powerful things. And all we've been shown is that angels are dicks. Like, any chance they get, they're just going to turn on you if you're not useful to them. So watching that, Misha's arc with Castiel and Jimmy was actually, I think, very emotional.
Yeah.
Sam, when he was going through his withdrawal, when they put him in detox, him having to go through all those emotions and all, like, being confronted by all the things you think about yourself, all the negative things you think about yourself, and they were just pounding on him.
Yeah.
And I thought Jared did a really good job in that.
Very good job.
And then even Jensen, his heartbreak over watching his brother go through all this, and still having to fight him and deal with his own level of distrust. Like, he was learning more and more about his brother that he didn't love, he didn't trust, and that was breaking his heart. And and even Bobby along the way, who all this whole time is like, you idiots, fix it your brothers, this may break your heart, but we have to kill him, type of thing. I mean, Bobby. So I think, like, emotionally, one thing I do like about Supernatural is they write for male characters, and not in a misogynistic way. I do like the relationships that they write for men in these episodes. And that's not to say I don't like what they, write for women, but there is the stereotypical trope of women in these shows. I'm going to put that aside and say that the writing for the men is, I think, very powerful and very strong. So that's my 2 cents there. But yeah, anyway, so I loved this season. I'm sorry it took us so long to get through it. It was through no fault of the season.
No.
And since I've already binged 4 episodes in because I was sick, I was like, I broke my own rules, and I just like, sorry, I am hip deep in season 5, and I don't want it to stop. So
closing the book on season 4. Thank you, season 4, for your service. We love you, but time to move on.
Yep.
So we will be starting season 5 next. Don't know when these episodes are going to start for us. We're going to try some new things, and also just kind of get our footing back.
Yeah, got to get to the top of the hill so we can pedal down. Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's the uphill pedal that's really hard right now.
So we hope that you will stick with us while we take this brief pausa, this brief hiatus. We are determined to keep going and just get better and better.
Yeah.
So that being said, please subscribe, please follow, please rate us wherever you can do so on a podcast platform. We are on YouTube. You can listen to us there or watch us there. Not us, but a little wavy audio line. But we're there. You can subscribe and like and comment there also.
Yep, you can leave us reviews. And you can leave us reviews on YouTube. You can leave us reviews.
Let us know your thoughts.
Apple.
Let us know what your favorite episode of the season was. Would love to hear. We are at Salt and Burn This everywhere on social.
But speaking of, oh, hey, is that you? I just want to do a little shout out to Jack Cross, who I think his road trip is over by the time we got this podcast out. But I just want to say thanks to Jack Cross for always listening and always Insta posting about us. We really appreciate it. Yes. And wish you luck with all your film shoots.
Yes. Also, thank you to Charlie, who always shouts us out and does a better job at marketing our show than we do.
I hate to say it, but he's also like just a little bit smarter than us.
He's way smarter than us. Are you kidding me? Way smarter.
Way smarter.
So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you to everybody who listens to us. We really, really appreciate it. Every single one of you.
All right.
I think we've blabbered on enough, and we will say good night. Thank you, and we will see you for season 5 sometime. Soon. Thank you.
Valerie's more optimistic.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.